if you hold on, can you hold on to two propositions? The universe began to exist and the universe always existed. Can you hold on to these two propositions?
No.
Not as being true.
Why? Because according to your worldview, everyone has a delusional beliefs.
Right.
So then equally, I can hold.
So that they can contradict one another.
I can hold contradictory delusional beliefs. You would say to me, "Are you crazy, Adam? Why are you holding on to two?" And I say to you, "I'm delusional." You would
yes, but hold on a second, Adam. His belief is subjective.
You would criticize it. Exactly.
Because when it comes to beliefs, beliefs are delusional. Because this is what I'm trying to say. We can talk about mine. We can go to all of them. Hang on, wait.
Is your belief about you being delusional?
No, he believes it's delusional. And
is my belief about me being delusional?
No.
I don't think so, no.
So not all beliefs are delusional.
I believe I had this experience,
Why is it contradicting?
and it makes me feel good.
Experience.
But you're saying worldview though, I don't understand. Make me understand.
Because your worldview is attached to your interpretation of the experience, because you're talking about your experience makes claims about the world indirectly.
No, it makes claims about me.
Nope.
That's all it makes. I only make a claim about me. I don't make. Listen, I make a claim about my experience. That's all. I don't make a claim about the world. I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about me.
My friend, because you're talking about you're connecting to ancestors that are part of the world. There's a difference between a true belief and a justified true belief.
No, I don't use the word belief. You use the word belief. Because if we go to the word belief, the belief is, what's the word belief mean?
Well, from a philosophical sense, I know if you want to use a sort of colloquial kind of dictionary sense, it's believing in something without evidence. Belief.
So then what kind of belief? So now we have to specify what kind.
Wait a minute. That's why people make the distinction. They say justified true beliefs.
Can you actually have a belief without evidence?
Knowledge is justified.
Things out there that you take to be true that you can't prove. And then your great granddad, you can't really prove it.
Do you really think that's an argument though? Because what we do know, is that human beings come together to create babies. We know that.
Yeah, so we know it by reason, but we can't like let's say.
No, we know it by proof.
By what proof?
Because your mum and dad, what did you pop into existence? Your mum and dad came together to create you,
I'm
right?
talking about great granddad.
Yeah, but
how do you know he existed? Come on.
Is that even an argument though? Like, you wouldn't be here without him existing.
Exactly, that's the point I'm saying. We can't actually prove it, but we're here.
No, but you are the proof.
That's the reason, that's what I'm saying. What I'm basically saying is this.
You're the proof your granddad existed, bro.
Because we're here, right? But what I'm talking about is there's different types of proof. There's empirical proof where you see with your own eyes. So what I'm saying, your great granddad, we never saw him, talked to him. Well, we're here. The proof that he exists is because we're here. But that proof is not based on empiricism, it's based on reason. So what I'm saying is proof doesn't necessarily mean by looking, it can also be by using your
No, but that's a very silly argument. I'll tell you why. Because you can look at 3 generations of children. You can look at granddad, child, and grandchild.
But you can't look at great.
Yeah, but what I'm trying to say, you know though that the granddad didn't pop into existence from nowhere. So you know that there was something, there was a granddad before him.
Based on what? Your intellect. That's the point I'm saying.
Yeah, because that's how things happen, bro. We don't know anything that pops into existence, do we?
So what I'm saying is
whoever created Earth is outside of.
And even let's take for example.
Is that an idea you could accept?
No, because everything we know of is the energetic construct. Everything we know of.
Okay, and you know, like
conscious is energy conscious.
Well, are you conscious?
Yeah, but I'm part of energy and I have conscious. If I'm dead, whatever my belief is, I don't think I will be conscious if I'm dead.
Okay,
my life, because I have a soul, because I'm spiritual. You know, I believe I'm conscious.
But you are conscious though, and you are also energy.
I am, but if I get shot in the face,
about the only thing you do now.
I don't think I have. I won't have consciousness. Yeah, I'm just a pilot.
But then that's a different argument. You asked me if energy was conscious. I told you you're conscious.
In itself, would it be? It's like, is my hand conscious on its own? It wouldn't be. If I chop this off and leave it, it wouldn't be conscious. It wouldn't be self-aware. Same with this bottle. Same with anything. It's all because we have souls or we have minds. That makes it.
Well, you can go into Buddhism and look about and kind of look. They have this thing called levels of consciousness, like levels of consciousness, right? So you can. You can hold on 1 second. Yes, you can go into levels of consciousness. So
That's a bit philosophical.
I'm not gonna say that I'm not gonna say it's all answered.
No, I want to learn. I'm not trying to catch you out.
No, I know, but I'm not gonna say all the answers are there. But what we do know is that everything's energy in one way, shape, or
So do you know, like, emotions, or let's say beauty, for example, how would you prove beauty exists?
Beauty is subjective.
Right?
It's a subjective construct.
But would you say,
What I find beautiful is probably not what.
would you say the actual concept of beauty exists?
Beauty is a concept.
So, and does it exist?
We agree that it does exist.
Why?
Why? Because that's the way we are.
Right, but can we prove it exists?
No, we can't. Okay, what we can prove exists is that human beings have a concept called beauty. Beauty is the study of, I don't know, maybe a human face or whatever, and what we find appealing about a human face. You know what I'm saying? So it's a concept. Yeah. It's a concept. But all human beings have a concept of. All human beings have a concept of beauty.
But that's not something that you can see, touch, feel. That's just like,
No, you can't touch beauty. No. You can't touch beauty. You can't touch love either.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
that's
Like, you can't
emotions,
touch love.
jealousy, love, hatred.
Right.
I dislike
But does that mean we don't experience what we call love?
Exactly, that's the
Right.
point I'm saying, yeah.
So what? No, you keep saying that's the point. What is the point? What
That's
is it?
my point was saying there's certain obviously things that we can't empirically prove by sight, but there's certain things that we experience, like beauty, for
So,
example.
okay, so you experience God.
Yeah, I could totally say that.
You experience God.
Yeah.
How do you experience God?
As Muslims, we do experience. We believe basically the peace and the prayer is an experience of God.
So you're in contact with God.
No, not in that type of what you're saying. Contact like speak to God. No, that you feel.
So it's a feeling. But like I said, are feelings subjective?
Can be, yes.
No, they are.
Yeah.
Because like I said, just like with
but
love.
my feeling is backed by proof, which is the Quran.
Okay, so my love is backed by proof because the woman's there and I love her, right? So you're not there. So she's there, I love her, yeah. So it's backed by proof that she's here, but we could talk about love.
Yeah, but again, the love.
You make love and you run away.
That's what I'm saying. Because rewinding before, you were saying again, there's certain.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Most of them, 80% people are in this country.
I can't hear you, sorry.
A woman told me himself when I was in the teaching in the school. He said, your system is the best of all. A girl knows who she's going to marry. He said, over here, we have to go through 6 people to find one who's going to marry. And I said, what do the 6 people do? He said, what they do, you must know it. And I'm telling you, this is it. Don't tell stories, people here.
I don't know, the guy was
Islam is supreme.
I'm trying to understand what the guy's
He
saying.
said, don't you go near the woman unless and until you have made
He says he feels God, but that doesn't explain why he believes the Quran.
Right.
Very different thing.
They turn religion into fantasy. Fantasy all the
Talk about the
time.
Quran, we can prove the Quran is the word of God.
You can prove
Supposition.
the Quran is the word of God, even though you actually can't prove
best
God.
book on this
We're going to prove His word.
No, we can't.
Tell
Obviously,
you
again,
where you
that's the
love
point. We say we can prove God by reason.
No, I know we say we can prove God. We say it a lot,
I know that.
but we want proof for it.
Going back to the example of your great-great-granddad, you only believe he existed because you're here, so you use your reason.
That's a very silly argument.
Okay, why is it silly?
Because you say that God is not physical.
let's take
Hang
God
on,
out of the picture.
because you say God's not physical, right?
Take God out of the picture.
Hang on, because you say Allah's not physical, but my granddad was physical.
No, man.
So I don't know, you're conflating
I'm talking about the
stuff.
conclusion that you reached your
Okay, so
great-great-granddad is based on reason, not that you saw your great-great-granddad. So what I'm saying, applying that same reason to God, we can I was saying,
He has evidence though, but you don't.
Yes, I was saying that the conclusion that you reached your great-great-granddad existence, obviously, is because you're here. That's based on what your reason is.
So are you saying that every 4th generation we're going to have the same argument as to whether great-granddad existed? Because that's what it sounds
don't understand
like.
what I'm saying.
Every 4th generation we've got to
saying-
have the argument,
I'm
whether
saying-
did great-granddad... You know great-granddad existed, bruv.
Yeah, based
You
on your
can't
reason.
have that argument
Based
every
on your
4th
reason.
generation.
How did you come to that conclusion? Because you're here, right?
No, that's not entirely the truth. We have books. Books are written.
Bro, like,
We have books written by people from
these books did
thousands
not
of years ago.
these books did not exist, would you believe your great-great-grandmother existed?
That goes through crossroads.
Of course, because
All
we
I'm
see
saying
it.
is this: you believe he existed because you used your reason. So if you apply the same reason to God, we can still rationally come to a conclusion. God
Okay,
exists.
so you rationally concluded God. Let's say I believe you, which I don't.
Okay.
Let's rationally conclude that God exists. Now we have to ask ourselves which one you're talking about, because there's loads of them. Because the Christians said God exists
No,
over
we're
there
talking
too.
about the actual concept of a creator of the world.
Yeah, everyone's come to that conclusion, bro.
Yeah, okay. Right.
From the Himalayas
Yeah.
to the lowlands
Yeah.
of South America.
Right.
Everyone's come to the conclusion as a creator. Now, which one is it?
Our concept of God, right?
Our concept, which is now subjective. Go ahead.
Right, is obviously the most, we would say, the most logical concept. You see, it's the same God,
Where's the
number
logic?
one. Right, I'll explain the logic of that, but we're saying it's the same God as what the Christians say, the Jews say, and all around. It is the same God. Our concept of that same God might be different. Okay, that might be thingy.
What do you mean by subjective God?
No, so obviously everyone has different ideas of God, of that same God.
Okay, so if I don't know your name, let's say Adam, and everyone says they know Adam. 5 people say, yeah, I know Adam. Adam exists. You've met Adam? Yeah, I experienced Adam. 5 people said I experienced Adam. Cool. So we speak to all 5 people, and they've all got a different story about you.
Yeah, but
Okay, but it's the same Adam,
wait,
yeah.
wait.
Apparently, but how can we come to that conclusion if you've got 5 different stories?
No, but it can be 5 same different stories of the same
Do you
person.
mind if I?
Yeah, sorry.
But what you can't deny is that there is an objective Adam.
No, that's,
There you
I'm
go.
not-
That's the point.
Wait. You cannot deny that there is an objective Adam. Although there may be subjective experiences of Adam that may differ, that doesn't undermine the fact that there is an objective Adam. And why doesn't it undermine it? Because you couldn't have a subjective experience to begin with if there was no Adam.
There you go.
Right.
So,
No, I'm gonna go.
Be a sceptical view on that.
So therefore, the idea of this kind of subjective experience, of many different experiences, doesn't undermine the objectivity of a thing that one is
But it's
experiencing.
a claim that there's an Adam, though.
No,
That's
no,
what I'm
one
trying to say
second.
is.
No, you didn't say there was a claim.
There
You
is
said
a
that-
claim,
No. You said you met Adam.
No, I never met Adam. The 5 people say they met
That's
Adam.
not, but they've met Adam.
That's what they say. That's what I'm trying to say. They say that.
Okay, let's just say.
That's what I'm saying. They say there's an Adam.
All of us here just met me.
Say again?
All of us here just met me.
Okay.
I had a conversation. Now, all of you may have a subjective experience of Adam, which is objective.
Yeah.
But your interpretation is subjective because
I agree.
I might have caused an emotion of hatred. I do sometimes. I might have caused an emotion of endearment,
Right.
love.
Right.
Those are subjective experiences.
Right.
But that doesn't deny the fact that there is an objective
If they all
Adam.
met you, I don't disagree.
Okay, so what you because I've heard what you're saying. The problem what you're saying is that you commit a logical fallacy. It's the logical fallacy of plurality. That is
what?
plurality.
Plurality.
Plural plurality.
Oh, plurality. Oh, okay.
Yeah. You commit this fallacy, and that is to say that just because there are different understandings of God, that it negates that the God is there.
I've never said that though.
For example,
I've never said God doesn't exist.
No.
I've never said
You
God doesn't
allude-
exist. No, listen
I
to
may
me.
have misunderstood
Right,
you.
I've never said God
I
doesn't
may have-
exist.
may I just finish?
I've simply said the people that claim God exists
I know,
have
no.
a different story about God.
I know, but it doesn't. But just because different people have different experiences,
Right.
you can't undermine the experience simply because of that. You can undermine the experience if it is valid, if it's true.
According to
Okay, so for example, this
true,
gentleman,
according to who?
it is a truth claim. So for example, this
claim,
gentleman.
there we go.
One second. Yes, so there is.
Fantastic.
Okay, so I know where you're going on this one.
Go on.
You're going on terms of belief. But my friend, there are 2 types of belief. There is belief, true, justified belief. There is beliefs and justified beliefs. For example, I
And
could
we
wait.
differentiate between those how?
Well, one is justified and one is not. Let me explain. to you.
Justified is according to.
Let me explain.
Okay,
Let me
okay.
explain. So, for example,
JTB.
if I wake up and I have a dream, and I say E equals MC squared.
Right.
Okay. Now I have a belief. It is true, but it's not justified. Whereas I may work in a lab. Whereas I might use mathematics, and I come to the and I demonstrate that E equals MC squared. So do you see the difference
That's
between
a
those
fact,
beliefs? No. Do you see the difference between those beliefs?
It's a fact. One's a fact, one's a belief. Because you've done the experiment to prove.
No. But they're both true.
No. They're both.
not true. No.
Listen.
E equals MC squared.
Listen.
Yes.
According to the scientific tests that have been done, tests, E equals MC squared, and they can back that up with facts, proof, evidence. Yes? You saying E equals MC squared may be a true statement, however, hang on, however you haven't backed it up with, but it can be backed up with
so
truth, facts and evidence. Right, so what I'm trying to say is, there's no truth, facts and evidence to prove God. Whereas E equals MC squared...
We're not talking about God.
We were though.
No, we're not talking, we're talking about the source of knowledge.
Yes.
We're talking about epistemology. Because the key to your argument, which is your peculiar understanding of knowledge. Because look...
Are we talking about knowledge or God? What are we talking about?
That's the point.
That's the whole point.
Okay, fact.
You can only know God if you know what your knowledge is. If you don't know what knowledge is, then you're not going to understand what belief is. If you don't understand what belief is, you're not going to understand what evidence is. You're not going to understand what warranted belief is.
So we're talking about knowledge, not God.
So what I'm saying to you, I don't mean to be patronising, but I was just trying to educate you on the two differences.
Go for it.
And I think you've concluded that you agree with me. There is a difference between a true belief and a justified true belief.
No, I don't use the word belief. You use the word belief. Because if we go to the word belief, the belief is, what's the word belief mean?
Well, from a philosophical sense, I know if you want to use the sort of colloquial kind of dictionary sense, it's believing in something without evidence. Belief.
So then what kind of belief? So now we have to specify what kind.
Wait a minute. That's why people make the distinction. They say justified true beliefs. Knowledge is justified true belief. So you can say, I know and I have reason to believe something. If it is true, it's justified and it's a belief. I make it true to say.
Factual though. That's what I'm saying. You're playing with words. Something's either factual or it's not factual.
Okay, before E equals MC squared was discovered, imagine we go back in time.
Right.
I have a dream. Right? And I say
Martin Luther King. Right.
E equals MC squared.
Right.
Now, is that true? Was that belief true?
Before you had the dream,
it's not
it was
justified
a fact.
belief, is what he's saying.
No, but is my belief to believe in E equals MC squared true?
It's a fact, but it hasn't been proven yet.
But facts have, but there's a truth value to it. What is that? No, I say to you, guess what? I just had a dream. And I just had this dream of E equals MC squared. Is that claim, that assertion, every assertion has a truth value. It doesn't, just because it has a truth value, it doesn't mean we're talking about the veracity of its truthness. It just means it has a value. So that claim has a value, yes or no? It's either true or false.
After the claim we can prove whether it's true or false.
Before experiment, any belief is either true or false, yes or no?
Hang on, say that again?
When you make a claim...
Right, so I say...
If it's a binary belief.
Hang on.
No, one second.
I claim I'm going to get home this evening.
Right, that's indeterminate. That's assertion for the future, right? So there can be three positions that someone can fall.
Okay.
Either a statement is true, false, or not decided until the event happens.
Right. Okay.
Indeterminate, yeah.
Okay.
Now, if I said you're a cat, okay, does that statement have a truth value?
Yes.
Correct. It's a belief, right? Now, the fact that it's wrong, it doesn't mean it doesn't have a
proposition.
Exactly. Yeah. So you
don't use belief. It's very emotive. Considering that we're surrounded by religious people. It's very emotive.
Okay. I don't want to get too technical. Okay. Proposition. So every proposition, assertion is a claim which has a truth value. A proposition is the meaning of an assertion. Okay. So we can use the word proposition for now. So every claim has because what I've heard from you is that you seem to shield yourself from criticism by claiming that your view is subjective. Therefore,
my view is though.
No.
What view are you talking about, first of all?
Now, you spoke about ancestors.
Yes.
Okay, but your claim or your view of your believing in your ancestors has a truth value.
To who?
Well, we just agreed that every proposition has a truth value.
To who?
No, to anyone. Anyone that, if I said you're a cat.
But I don't accept that. I don't accept that.
You're talking about objective. He's talking about subjective.
Hang on. I'll tell you why I don't accept that. Because if I assert something if I assert my experience, right, that's not true to you.
No, I'm not talking about your experience.
No, because I said I communicate with my ancestors. But that's not true to you though, is it?
Okay, 1 second. Let's go.
Is that true to you?
No, 1 second. I'll answer the question. Look, you've done something very interesting. do you remember when we spoke about Adam, meeting people?
Yes.
Okay. And we said just because different people have different experiences, it doesn't
mean that
it doesn't undermine the reality of Adam.
Exists, yes.
Hence, you may have an experience of your ancestors, but it doesn't undermine the reality of your ancestors.
I never said
it can be objective. So therefore, it's open to criticism.
Of course it is.
So therefore,
words into your mouth.
No, but of course it is.
So therefore, it's a claim that has a truth value. You're making an objective claim about your ancestors of the world. So therefore, if it's objective, then it's either true or false, and then we can engage in.
No, because it's true to me.
No, you can't say that.
No, you can.
No, you can't.
Yes, you
You're
can.
making a world claim.
My friend.
You're not saying.
My friend. What I'm telling you is.
Oh, no, you're right. You can say that. No,
yes, you can say that. I can say.
I mean, it's true.
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Fantastic. Doesn't mean that it's true.
It's not true. You can say that, but you don't know the difference between having a delusional thought and an actual thought. So how you could be delusional?
I could be. I've accepted that.
Fine.
Well,
I've always accepted that.
You
didn't say otherwise.
I never said otherwise.
So you could be delusional.
I could be.
That's where you can
I could be
move on when you
100%
accept it.
delusional.
Okay, so then.
But so could religious people, right?
Absolutely.
Right. That's my argument.
No, but you don't.
That's my whole argument,
No,
bro.
but then.
When I said to people we're all delusional, I've said that before,
I
right?
get kicked out of church on a regular basis.
Everyone's seen my debate where I said we're all delusional.
But
I
then-
said that from 2 years ago.
You have no, but in actual fact, we can actually demonstrate that you have more reasons to be delusional.
So, bro,
You have more reasons to be delusional because you have no evidence of your ancestors communicating with you.
Fantastic.
Exactly.
But I've accepted that I could be delusional. What I'm trying to
I'm not
wait,
saying you
listen,
could
listen,
be.
wait.
No, we've moved on from that.
When we're talking about religion,
moved on from
wait.
that.
When we're talking
We've
about
moved on
religion,
from
no,
that.
listen.
I'm actually saying you are delusional.
Okay, fine. And you're entitled to your
But
opinion.
then you would have to accept, not like as a
I
personal
accept
attack.
it. You're allowed to say that to me, bro.
So you accept that you're delusional.
No, I accept that I could be delusional.
No, we've moved on from that.
No, but according to your standards of delusion. So like I said, hang on. Wait.
What was the delusion? That he doesn't have a grandfather? Is that the delusion?
No. The delusion is that I communicate with my ancestors. But what I'm trying to say is, I said before to this guy, I cannot prove that to you as a statement of fact. I cannot prove to you a statement of fact that I communicate with my ancestors. And hang on.
I'm not asking you to prove that as a fact.
The point I always make to the religious people is that you attempt to assert your own personal delusions, personal beliefs as facts. That's what they try to do. They try to assert them. I've never tried to do that. As a matter of fact, in this conversation,
Religious people.
No, religious people have a particular worldview that has a truth value that can be true or false, and they believe they have justified beliefs. Therefore, they try and demonstrate those beliefs. They could be false, they could be right.
Right.
But you are not entering the domain because you, from what I've understood, I could be mistaken. That you seem that you're kind of your demeanor and the way that you engage with religious people is somehow that you're on a sort of superior level.
No,
not in an arrogant, not in an arrogant.
Subconscious. You might not even realise. That's where the arrogance comes in.
What I'm trying to say to you is,
let me finish.
All right, finish and then I'll go on. Finish.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm not going to challenge you to an MMA fight, so don't worry.
It's fine. I don't take MMA fights. It's fine.
That's good. And
the
you
MMA
shouldn't.
guy got clocked already.
And you shouldn't. You shouldn't.
The MMA guy got clocked. Did this. So
don't worry.
It makes you feel good then.
And you shouldn't, by the way. You should never accept that because you validate their thuggery. You should never accept
Validate whose thuggery?
Their thuggery.
Who's there?
The Muslims that have asked you to do an MMA fight. You validate their thuggery. You should never accept their challenge.
I never have.
But that is his delusion.
Commending you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I never have.
Do not ever be intimidated because it's absolutely outright wrong what they did.
There is a shepherd, there's a sheep.
Anyway, so let's put that aside.
You were saying.
Okay, look. Now, you agree that because you cannot demonstrate any reasons to believe your belief, right?
They're all personal.
Okay, but you're making. But what you're.
Are you telling me that I shouldn't even say it? Is that what you're saying? Essentially.
No. You can say whatever you want. But what I'm saying to you is that if you accept that you're making claims that cannot be demonstrated to be true about
apparently
you're making claims about the world. Are you not? You're saying there's a sort of.
I'm not making claims about the world.
Okay, let me educate you because I don't understand what you mean by it. Because I believe that there's something. Because there is something.
That is a super patronising thing to say, and it's said a lot in the past.
What's that?
Let me educate you. I just find that so.
I asked him to educate me.
Oh, you better before you said I'm going to educate you.
Yeah, but you're the one that's been listening for the last 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So obviously you're getting educated.
I hope I'm not.
Otherwise you'd have said something against him.
No.
Yeah. You're the one
Good man, I'm having quite an interesting conversation.
Do carry on.
Do you not believe
I can be listening and ignoring it all.
Okay. Do you? From what I've understood, there is a system of belief. There's a system of belief called your ancestors, right?
No, it's not a system. What belief? I meditate. I have a personal experience. I come out of that experience, and that's my experience.
Okay, but if you die, would that
you got out of the argument?
Would that still continue?
What? Because I'm not here. No, because I'm not here to have the experience.
No. That other people can have that experience.
They're probably not having the same experience as me.
No.
I don't know if they're having the same experience.
See, again, there's a sleight of hands here that when you engage in.
Right.
I'm not talking about the subjective experience that you have. I'm talking about having the experience of a thing. Let's call that X.
So you're saying, can people meditate and see stuff?
No.
Even if I die.
The same thing that you're connected to.
I don't know. I don't know that.
Surely you hope so.
I don't know that. I really don't know.
Do you want that?
No, not particularly. It's personal.
So the whole thing of ancestry is just about you.
It's my personal
That's
experience.
a bit narcissistic. It's all about you.
Of course, because I'm not asking anyone else to do it.
No.
It's not about anybody else. It's about my personal experience.
So you're the only person in the entire history of humanity that connects to this thing called the ancestors.
I've never claimed that at all, bro. Like, I've never claimed that. No.
No. What I'm trying to explain is this happening inside of you, or are you having something outside of you?
I'm simply saying this. I am having a personal experience.
Yeah, and you're justified to support that. I believe you're justified.
That's it.
With what?
But
I am having a personal experience.
Okay, what? With what?
Full stop.
You attribute that
you been told not to
experience.
say?
No.
I'm having a personal experience.
That's a bit disingenuous. I'll tell you why it's a bit disingenuous.
No, but the thing is, see, I'll tell you something. Let's on and off, but we'll get back.
Yeah.
The most loving, precious things that you have in your life, you shouldn't share them with everyone. You shouldn't. You should keep them secret.
Absolutely.
Because you don't necessarily trust everyone to treat it like the way you treat it.
Okay, so
which is why all you're getting out of me is I have a personal experience.
No, but you have a worldview.
Because, of course, everyone has a worldview.
So it's not purely just a experience. What you do is you have a worldview
in regards to
the world, the universe,
existence. But that's got nothing to do with my
Does that
ancestors.
experience drive you to...
Exactly.
So then it's not personal to you because you're...
Does my experience drive me to do
mirrors
what?
then, isn't it?
It's like, yeah,
when you hear and talk about
in
that
actual
personal
fact,
experience,
Listen, you know what's so funny? I've never spoken about my personal experience here. People have asked about it and I've given them little bits and tidbits. But I don't.
What drives you to come here?
What? My personal experience? No.
but you have a particular worldview. You believe that, for example, God didn't bring us into existence, right? You don't believe in this type of God bringing into existence, right?
Okay, so that worldview.
You don't believe this?
No, that worldview is someone else's. So it's not mine.
Yeah, your belief. Of the world.
So other people have a worldview that God brought us into existence. That's not my.
Okay,
that's not my worldview.
So you have a particular understanding of how the world works, right?
I tell you what, all I know is all I know. Okay.
Do you think you would have?
Hang on. All I know is everything is energy, and energy is a cause of everything.
Can you prove that?
Okay.
That's what we know scientifically.
Okay. Well, that principle. I don't want to go into this just yet. I want to deal more on beliefs, but that principle only works once it exists. That doesn't apply when it doesn't exist.
What doesn't exist?
That's a theory in science that only exists when the universe is here.
In the closed system. Only in the closed system.
If the universe was never here,
well, according to science, the universe has always been in one way, shape, or form.
No.
They're not sure. No. They're not sure.
In one way, shape, or form?
No.
I can show you.
I've got a question for you.
There's lots of different theories.
Right, fantastic. Theories are great.
But theories when
Actually, they're hypotheses.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, I can demonstrate to you why the universe is always here with a philosophical argument. But let's put that aside for a second, right? I'll come back to that in a minute. What I'm trying to explain to you is that you're not someone who just says, look, I woke up in the morning, I just have this feeling, I have an experience. You have an idea. If you like an ideology, a worldview, which is couched by the idea that the universe is always linear. Like, for example.
But I don't push that though. I'm not trying to push that on anyone. No, I'm not trying to push that. No, I'll tell you something that I don't do. I do not push my worldview on people. I don't do that. So if I've got that worldview, I'll tell you this is what I believe, and you can take it or leave it. You're not going to burn if you don't have it.
Okay, I understand.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to kill you if you don't have it.
No, of course.
It's just a personal view.
Yeah, and you're right to criticise it. You deconstruct it.
Everyone can deconstruct what they want.
Exactly.
I won't kill them for it.
What I would say to you is that because you already agree that what you're experiencing could be delusional.
Yes.
Now, what I would add to that is move from the could to it is.
Is it?
Yeah. So let me try and see if I can go along with that. Given the fact that you only believe in a materialistic universe, the mechanism you communicate to your ancestors does not fit in that worldview.
100%.
It doesn't fit in the worldview.
No, it doesn't fit in the worldview of the natural universe, the natural realm.
But that's what you believe in.
No, you don't know what I believe in.
No, you have to believe in it. Because if energy is a material force,
yes,
there is no non-material force.
You can't look worse than I do, don't worry.
How do you explain it?
I can't. I told you I can't.
So therefore,
if you see your picture, just don't watch the video. That's the secret.
I'm delusional then.
There you are then. We all are.
I don't want anyone else to see.
There you are then.
Sorry, was there evidence of your delusion?
No, it doesn't matter. I'm
There
delusional.
you are then. So,
I'm probably the smartest delusional person that I know, but I'm still delusional.
well, you can't be smart and delusional at the
Of
same
course you can.
about a particular belief.
No.
How can you recognise that you're being delusional? Then why don't you abandon the belief?
There are religious people that have the same thing. They go about their daily lives. They might be smart, very smart. However, they have their own delusions. They say, "Oh, I had the Holy Ghost,"
I get
and all
it.
that kind of
Yeah,
stuff, right? So, if they have like I said, they can't prove that experience, just like I can't prove mine. And what I told you from the beginning of this conversation, I am actually open to being called delusional and being delusional. I'm open to it. Hang on, wait.
Yeah.
I'm open to that. You see what I'm saying? Religious people are not open to that.
Aren't you a person that
No, because it gives me comfort.
The wise man. Wait. The wise man proportions his belief according to the available evidence.
Right.
So what you have is you have two contradictory beliefs. You have one about the world being naturalistic and materialistic, and then you have one which is almost supernatural,
yes,
which deals with talking with ancestors.
Yes.
So the overwhelming evidence is on this side, so you have to abandon this belief.
I don't have to. It makes me feel good when I do that.
If you want to be a reasonable person, you do.
But I'm reasonable most of the time.
That's not reasonable.
Listen, most of the time I'm reasonable. Hang on.
So you are as deluded. So you are. So therefore, you are not at a sort of superior level because you.
I've never claimed I was, bro.
I don't mean like a.
Why do people keep using that term?
Not hubris. I don't mean hubris.
So you just said that. You just said that you think that it's like superior. Yeah, that's you just.
No, he didn't. He said he cannot be on a superior level because he has this contradictory belief.
Hang on. Let me go back a year or so. Have you seen a debate that I had with Muhammad Hijab and Ali Dawah?
I've seen all of them.
Okay, so when I said to Muhammad and Ali Dawah that we are all delusional. Do you remember when I said that in the conversation? Do you remember when I said that? So I said you're just as crazy as me. That's what I said to him.
Okay,
I admitted I'm crazy too.
Okay, so
but what I'm trying to say is you don't have and I said you don't have a superior type of crazy over my type of crazy. We're all crazy. We're all in that house together.
No,
I've said this.
Speak for yourself.
No, but you're.
No, we are all a bit crazy, though.
But
And if
not
you
that
deny
crazy.
you're crazy,
You're going to keep going.
I'm denying I'm
you are
crazy.
absolutely
but
crazy.
You're actually going to keep going, aren't you?
Deny
I'm giving you the
it,
answer
you are well
though,
crazy.
but you're going to keep going.
You'd have to give me evidence. You'd have to give me evidence of my crazy.
We're all a bit. Sorry.
You'd have to give me evidence of my crazy.
So what? See, there's.
Bro, I've already
Happy
admitted
to
to
look
being
at
crazy.
it.
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that label. You just call me crazy.
Okay.
I'm actually okay with it. But it seems like you're not okay with it.
I'm not okay with it.
I'm okay with it.
No, I'm
I don't want to be crazy.
I've moved on from that point. It's good. I'm
Seems
glad
like
you
you're
said
still
delusional.
seems like you're still
No, I
trying to call
haven't
me
finished.
crazy. Oh yeah, I'm finished.
finished.
Exactly.
I'm crazy.
This man has it.
Your views are delusional, yes?
100%.
Great.
Not all of them.
Thank you.
Just that one.
Okay, now you're in a situation where you hold on to two contradictory worldviews, right? You've abandoned abandoned one, well, you haven't abandoned it. You're holding on to it.
Yes.
Because you want to be self-deceptive.
Makes me feel very good.
Self-deceptive.
Yes.
You want to deceive yourself about the world. Okay.
About the world? What do you mean?
Well, you just said that you know that you're actually wrong, and therefore you want to still believe.
I know that I have this experience. I know I have this experience.
No, sorry.
I believe I have this experience.
Why is it contradictory?
And it makes me feel good.
Experience.
But you're saying worldview, though. I don't understand. Make me understand.
Because your worldview is attached to your interpretation of the experience. Because you're talking about your experience doesn't. Your experience makes claims about the world indirectly.
No, it makes claims about me.
Nope.
That's all it makes. I only make a claim about me. I don't make. Listen, I make a claim about my experience. That's all. I don't make a claim about the world. I'm not talking about the world. I'm talking about me.
My friend, because you're talking about you're connecting to ancestors that are part of the world. You're making a claim about the world. Don't you see?
Okay, so I'm making a claim about having an experience
inadvertently,
with people who existed as a part of the world at one point in time.
Yes.
Right.
So that is a claim about.
Of course it is.
Okay, but that is contradictory to your worldview of how the universe exists. Because
in the way. Yeah, go on.
I mean, I said this before, but I'll say it again. Because you have a naturalistic, materialistic view of the world, and in that kind of that's not the only view of the world I have, though. Wait.
And we can clearly see this.
Wait. Yes.
We can clearly see this, though.
But you are using a scientific, naturalistic understanding of the world, which completely is in contradiction to holding a view of the world that has this kind of system of ancestors.
I'll make it.
That's supernatural.
I'll try and make it easier for you. When I speak to you as a human being, and I speak to all the rest, when I speak to you as a human being, I'm going to attempt to speak in the most objective, factual way I can speak to you in. That's what I'm going to do as all human beings. I'm going to do that to all human beings. When I'm having my own experience, I'm talking to myself. I don't need to hold the same standards that I hold to speaking with every human being. But if I'm speaking to human beings, that's how I'm speaking to them now. I'm going to try. That's why I said to you, my personal thing is personal to me. That's it. But hang on, I'm not going to push it on you. I'm not going to tell you must believe it. But whenever you speak about stuff, what it seems like you're trying to deconstruct my stuff, which is fine. Yeah. I'm not going to kill you for it. But what I'm trying to say is, it's a personal thing. But it's really that simple.
I think he's asking you though why you are being contradictory. Is that the gist of what you're saying?
Because it makes me feel good.
So self-deception.
Yes, it makes me feel good. Do you think human beings don't deceive themselves every day?
Wow. I mean,
women have deceived themselves.
Listen, women have deceived themselves into believing that their man's not a cheater. They've deluded themselves into all kinds of stuff.
No religious person would say, I do not believe this is necessarily true, but I believe in it because it makes me feel better. Every religious person believes it's true.
But that is part of faith.
No, but that's part of it though.
That's faith.
Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know why? Do you know why? Because they're not honest. I'm being honest with you.
I give you that.
Religious people are not honest.
Well, not all of them.
They're not honest. They say that they say they can factually prove something they can't. They say that they're not having a delusion where they are, right? And I've admitted to all of this. So I'm being the most honest with you, but you still got a problem with me. You need to go and have a problem with them, bro.
I don't have any problem with you. I'm just trying to understand your worldview and how you think.
You're not. You might not understand it, though. That's the thing.
No, I've understood it very well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because if someone has a personal experience, I would say that, say for example, someone said, look, I had this really weird experience and I connected with God.
Yeah.
That person is actually warranted to support that belief. It's actually an evidence.
What evidence?
It's an evidence, a warrant, justification, because that person has had that. What are they going to do? I had the bloody belief, right? I had
the experience.
Sorry, I had the experience. However,
they could consider it a delusion.
Yes, you could.
You said but you implied that they couldn't do anything, but of course they could just assume it's a delusion.
Because that person has reason to support that until something greater can undermine that belief. So for example, imagine I'm lying down and I have this sense of electricity and I think, wow, that must have been from God.
Right.
Yeah? Then my friend comes and I'm telling everybody I had this experience of electricity, I was like shaking, convulsions and everything, right? Then my electrician mate comes round the next day and says my metal bed was connected to the electricity supply.
And that's why you were shaking.
Yeah, so then I abandon that belief according to the available evidence.
Correct.
You, however, even when the evidence is contrary, you're still holding on to that belief.
No, because I have the experience on a constant basis.
If he has the experience on a constant basis, that's correct.
It doesn't matter if it's every...
But that doesn't affect the belief.
No. But it doesn't matter how many times you have it.
Okay, so what's the explanation of it then?
Well, it could be loads of things. It could be loads of things. You might have medical problems. You might have psychological problems.
I could do.
Yeah, but the evidence is on the side that you're having a delusional experience.
Right.
But look, you may have a genuine experience, but
is that a problem?
No, it's not a problem at all.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking in the realm of rationality and having an intellectual conversation.
But we're having a rational conversation, though. Do you understand that?
Totally.
Right.
Totally.
So
what I'm saying
is it possible? So is it possible for a quote-unquote deluded person to have a rational conversation?
Sorry, say that again?
Is it possible for a deluded person to have a rational conversation?
About something else?
About something else, yeah, of course you can.
Right, so we're having a rational conversation about all of this, and I'm trying to be as rational as I can.
Yes.
I'm trying to be as rational as I can,
yes,
and give you what I've experienced.
But you said that you were being honest, and somehow no, 1 second. You said that you were being honest, and religious people could not be honest.
They're not honest though. They're not going to be honest. They're not going to tell you they're deluded.
Okay. So have
you ever spoken to a religious person who told you they're deluded?
No, some are genuinely even.
Well, we know that.
Have they told you that? Have they admitted that they're deluded?
No.
Or they could be deluded? No, have I?
Yeah, you have.
Oh, so am I different to them then?
To the people that I've met, but I don't know who's deluded or not. I mean, I don't know. I have to do some
No, but he's actually admitting to being potentially deluded.
I admire.
There's a bit of a difference.
Okay, I admire your candor and you admitting that you are.
I'm trying to be as honest as possible.
But that doesn't make your situation any better. That just means that you're honest. You're honest about being wrong and being deluded.
What situation?
No, but that's got to be better. It's got to be better than saying you're not deluded.
Let me just say something.
If somebody says I have these feelings but I may be deluded, it's got to be better than somebody saying I have these feelings and I'm definitely not deluded.
Hang on. That's worse. Because someone.
No. See my delusion? See my delusion? It causes absolutely no harm to anybody.
No. But
none.
When a man,
I'm not telling you. If you don't believe it, mate, hellfire's for you. I'm not going to tell you I'm going to behead you. I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to take little 9-year-old girls and do stuff to them. That's not part of my delusion, mate. That's part of someone else's. So you really shouldn't have a problem with my delusion, bro.
That's being pedantic. Forget that stuff, all right? I never brought that.
You shouldn't have a problem with my delusion, bro.
No. The point is, look, I'll tell you what's worse.
What's worse? Go on, you tell me.
There are two situations that we have. We have someone who is deluded, but doesn't know that they're deluded.
Right.
Probably.
And admits that it might be deluded.
He says he
might be. No.
Well, I am.
No. And then you have someone who says they're deluded and still carries on believing what they believe.
Yes.
The latter is worse.
Why?
Because the person who says that they're not deluded and is deluded doesn't know they're deluded.
No, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to show you why it's not worse. Because throughout my whole life, I am not going to attempt to assert this on the rest of the world. No. I'm going to show you why it's not worse.
Sarah, that's irrelevant.
No, it's relevant.
No.
Listen, let me tell you something. If there's a crazy man in the park over there, on the grass, just doing crazy shit, not doing anything to anyone, he's deluded.
It's irrelevant.
But he's not hurting anyone.
At this point, it's irrelevant.
Why is it irrelevant?
The fact that you don't want to extend what you believe to other people has no bearing on if it's true or false. If I don't want to tell people what I believe, has no bearing on the truth value of what I believe.
Right.
It's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant.
Your escape.
You seem like you got to be in your bonnet though. Like you're a dog with a bone right now though. You really are though. I'm just saying you're a dog with a bone and you're not.
No, I'm actually.
No, but the point's already been made. I'm deluded. No. The point's been made.
No. See, look. You're not following the discussion here. We first demonstrated that you.
What would you like me to do? You would like me to not be deluded, maybe more. Is that what it is?
No. I'm just.
Would you like me to tell people that I'm deluded?
I'm just having a nice conversation.
No, that's what I'm deluded. No, but we're all deluded to some degree. But it's okay.
One second.
He's not.
1 second.
I'm not.
I could be.
Oh, you could be now. Okay, now you could be.
You are deluded.
I could be.
I'm saying you're absolutely deluded.
But I have no.
He's wrong about one thing. I want to get back to it.
But I have no reasons to believe I'm deluded.
Oh, okay. I get it.
So therefore, I have a foundational belief that I'm sane and I'm understanding the world. Yeah? Like we gave the example of the guy with electricity. Yeah? So we started.
What is delusion?
It's believing in something about the world that is not true.
What is truth?
Well, truth is what is true. What if truth is a claim? Truth is a claim where
His truth. His truth. It's his truth.
It's very difficult philosophically.
Oh my God.
Don't go there. Skepticism
It's
ruins
his
the whole
truth.
well, okay, so we moved on from you could
I
be
think it's nuts
delusional.
to be quite
To
honest.
that, I am.
No, one second. This is a series of
No, but I'm definitely deluded though.
One second. We demonstrated that you could be delusional, and you have no qualms about that.
None whatsoever.
We just demonstrated that you are delusional.
Yeah, and I've still got
And
no
the
qualms
second,
about
and the third thing, we demonstrated that you still hold on to a state of delusion,
Yes.
even when you know it, which is worse than being delusional and not knowing it.
But you're forgetting that it's on the
But it makes me
subject
feel
of
good.
religion.
It makes me feel good.
That's what you're
It makes me feel good. And sometimes as human beings, we go with what makes us feel good over what's actually good for us.
love.
Okay, so
Sometimes we do.
that's a cop out because in your
It's not
life,
a cop out, it's the truth.
it's a cop out.
It's the truth, bro.
It's a cop out because you don't.
It's the truth.
You don't.
Love is a
Do you drink?
delusion.
Okay, no.
Do you
I
drink?
don't. No, not anymore.
Okay. But you used to, and it felt good, didn't it?
Yeah.
Right, but it was bad for you or good for you. And you, even when you knew it was.
Well,
But you still did it.
well, there's less.
You love people.
People are
love you,
eating,
you feel
people
like-
are going to McDonald's after this, bro.
It's a
They're gonna do
delusion.
shit that's bad for them all day long, but they're still gonna do it.
No.
Love is a delusion.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
No.
I do something that's not, it's just for me. I've chosen to do it. It's not hurting anyone. That's what I do, bro.
Free will's a good delusion.
You don't function. Okay, for example, let's
Big
examine.
ticket.
We're going around in circles now, you know.
You don't.
We're going around in
You can't
circles
use
now.
that with me.
No, but we are
You
going around in
can't use that with
circles.
me.
But we are going
There are
around in
no
circles.
circles here.
I think
There are
he's
no
lost.
circles here.
I think he's lost.
No.
Because most of us hold delusions.
No,
It makes us feel good.
the point here is that imagine we had an individual that would we support this worldview, this kind of understanding, right?
You're forgetting one point, brother.
Okay.
He's saying that he's
I know what he's
delusional on a belief, which makes sense if that's just it. He's not saying he's delusional in life, paying the mortgage, looking after his kids.
But why?
Because belief
why not?
is just that.
Why do you stop
It's-
it?
it's
Why do you
just
stop
that,
there?
though. But it's
Why do you
just-
stop that way of life there?
Because
Why
life
don't you
is
be delusional
intolerable
about
without
everything?
beliefs.
It's
You want me to be
crazy.
delusional about paying my
No,
mortgage?
Exactly.
What the fuck?
That don't work.
Exactly.
That don't work.
What the fuck? I can't do that.
Exactly.
I would have nowhere to live. What are you talking
He's
about?
losing this argument.
Exactly.
Because when it comes to beliefs, beliefs are delusions. Because this is what I'm trying to say. We can talk about mine. We can go to all of them. Hang on, wait.
Is your belief about you being delusional?
No, he believes
No.
he's delusional, and he's
Is my belief about me being delusional?
No.
I don't think so, no.
So not all beliefs are delusional.
No, hang on. Right, I never finished.
So not all
I never
beliefs are
finished.
delusional.
I'm talking about in the context of religion.
No,
Hang on,
all
wait.
worldviews,
You started
I'm
off
talking
with
about in the context of religions. In the context of religions, they're all delusional because none of them, just like me, cannot prove what they claim. Listen.
No.
My friend, please. None of us can prove what we say. None of us. None of us. We can't prove God. We can't prove Allah. We can't prove the unicorn. We can't prove none of it. But we believe it. We hold it to be true. I can't prove my antidote. I can't prove my communication with my ancestors. Yet and still, I hold it to be true. So, as I said, with that, we're all bloody delusional. Yes? We're all bloody crazy. Yes?
If you accept that, yes.
Yes, and I accept that. But that's what I'm trying to say to you.
But I don't believe.
I accept that.
I don't.
But the other people around here
Okay.
don't accept it.
So everybody's delusional, right?
When it comes to their religion, when it comes to their spiritual system, of course.
Okay, so when someone says the universe began to exist as an origin, and you believe it didn't have an origin, are those beliefs the same?
Say that again, sorry.
Okay, so when someone says that the universe began to exist, right, which is essential for some religious worldviews,
Yes,
and according to your worldview, you believe the universe is always here.
We've established.
it's a hypothesis.
Yeah, it's always, yeah.
Which means they can't
But
say
you-
it's true.
Or not true.
Well, you
That's
believe
correct.
it to be true. Yeah.
it's a belief though.
No, I actually said it's a hypothesis.
It's a hypothesis, which means they cannot say it's true or false.
It's
But they
a-
do.
But it's
They say
but
it's
it's
true.
essential to your worldview.
No. What do you mean?
Because your worldview would, in a sense, crumble if the universe did begin to exist.
My friend, I
does
said,
it?
listen, no, I said this. I am open to being proven wrong on anything.
Fine.
Right? I'm open to being proven
Okay,
wrong.
so-
Hang on. Wait, I'm not finished. I'm open to being proven wrong on anything. However, because I've always said, and you can go back from the videos, if we're all in the I don't know bracket, I'm cool with that. If you don't know, I don't know, she don't know, he don't know, he don't, and I'm cool with that. What happens is people don't stay in that bracket. They start to say stuff, other stuff, right? And make up whatever. They start to say other stuff and say, no, we don't know, we do know, and it's this. And then when I say, hang on a minute, is it actually that? And then when I ask them, is it that? And I said, well, can you prove that? They say, no, I can't prove it. So then we're still in the I don't know bracket.
Hold on one second. There are very few things that you can prove in a kind of mathematical sense. What you can have is more reasons to believe something than not to believe something. Okay.
Can your reasons be subjective?
One second. So going back to my point before, if someone believes that the universe began to exist and someone believes that the universe is eternal, do you think those beliefs are equal?
No.
Now, why, Sarah? Because you said we're all delusional.
No, equal in what sense? I don't believe they're equal because they're not the same.
Of its truth.
Oh, they're both, of course, in that sense.
Well, they're both
no, what they're saying is that this one could be true and that one could be true.
No, I didn't say could be. One is true and one is true. Can they both be true at the same time?
Yes. Whoa. That begs the question, are truths individual?
What do you mean by that?
Because that begs the question, are truths now individual?
No.
What were the two propositions?
Because if there's a universal truth that if there's a universal truth, I prefer using facts though. The word truth and fact. I don't like using the truth.
One second. If you can you hold on to two propositions? The universe began to exist and the universe always existed. Can you hold on to these two propositions?
No.
Not as being true.
Why? Because according to your worldview, everyone has a delusional beliefs.
Right.
So then equally I can hold
so that they can contradict one another.
I can hold contradictory delusional beliefs. You would say to me, are you crazy, Adam? Why are you holding on to these two beliefs? And I say to you, I'm delusional. You would
yes, but hold on a second, Adam. His belief is subjective.
No.
Adam, his belief is subjective. That belief you talked about was subjective.
People assert, hang on. They assert either that position or that position. They assert, no, that's fine. They assert either the universe began to exist or it's always existed. They assert that. No, hang on, different groups of people. Listen. Two different groups of people. One group, hang on. One group says this is it, and one group says this is it. Yeah? No one person's come out and said, no, they're both right, guys.
No. I'm saying if someone holds those two beliefs.
Well, that's a hypothesis now. Now it's hypothetical we're talking about.
No. It's a perfectly reasonable question. Because if all beliefs are delusional
when it comes to what?
About the world.
No, because we spoke about before how beliefs can still be true when you woke up and had E equals MC squared, right? But it's still a fact, it's still true.
Yes.
Right, so not all beliefs are delusions, are they?
Yes, that's what he was saying.
That's what you were saying, so not all beliefs are delusions.
No.
So I'm saying if in a context, but in a context of the religious stuff, I would say it's delusion. In the context of religion.
Okay, right.
So you're talking about real world scenarios, I woke up, had a dream, blah, 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 blah.
Look, I think the religious person is a better place rationally than you are. I'll explain why I think that. Okay? Now, regardless of if religion is true.
Who sent you, Adam?
He is called Adam. Where's he?
Who sent you? Because you're going, man. You're going. Who sent you, Adam?
Listen, no one sent me.
All right. Did Allah send you?
I'm the Baptist.
Are you an atheist? Are you Muslim? So Allah did send